Okay, so you're telling me the Castle of Two Sisters is actually a playground for two young princes' brats? Oh dear, why do I love this so much? Let's get into episode 3 of the best season, shall we? Castle-mania.
Get your kid ass out of here.
Hello, I'm Discord Giant Knight, and before we dive into the episode itself, don't worry, we'll get there. I have to ask, what's the point of this place? What's the point of having a castle in the middle of the Everfree forest anyway? Why does it exist? Why was it built? To answer, I have 3 options, and that's the one thing that is both amazing and frustrating about MOP. They give you just enough lore and world building to speculate, but no concrete answer for anything. I'm sure there's an actual concrete answer within the fandom that has been made by this point, but instead of looking it up, I'm just going to tell you what I think, and you can tell me if I'm right or wrong. Option 1. This place was just an outpost that the sisters made into the playground as kids. And it makes sense, right? After finding the elements of money deep in the Everfree forest, you want to make sure you have a stronghold there that can easily protect your most valuable and potential potent weapon. Why not build an outpost station around with guards? Yeah, G4, there is that, but isn't there? There are 2 problems with this that I have. 1, by the time they found the elements of harmony, both Luna and her sister were all grown up, and while I'm not saying Princess Celestia couldn't still want to have fun, I think the fact that the journal of the 2 sisters literally established that Luna was literally scared of the Hall of Arms means she was most likely a little child. So I don't think this place was found after they found these stones. I truly think this would be their original home, leading me to option 2. This was their original home of Luna and Celestia, perhaps after Star Swirl found them and began teaching them how to harness their vast amount of magic so that they alone could move the sun and moon. They needed a place to teach them, so they built a little castle in the woods. By building in the woods, they could keep an eye out and make sure there was no way the most valuable students of Star Swirl could ever be attacked. But if that's true, then why was it abandoned? Why does Celestia live in Camelot? Why does Camelot exist? The theory I have is that Camelot did exist, not until Celestia and Luna fought that night. And Celestia, out of pure grief, couldn't live in the same place she once held her sister. The problem I have with this is, if that was the case, why did you leave the elements there? It could be a situation where that's where they found the Tree of Harmony, so that's where they left them purely as a way to hold back the forest that was overtaking their home after Luna was banished to the moon. Perhaps back then, the forest really wasn't as large as it grew. Or option 3. Option 3, we're all overthinking this and it's just a giant clubhouse. This could explain why it was abandoned and why there are no guards, considering how adventurous the sisters were. I bet as kids they could have snuck out from their teacher in Camelot and raced to their little clubhouse in the middle of the woods. And they left the elements of harmony there, knowing that their spells were enough to keep them safe. After all, the elements weren't staying out, they were actually in a fancy casing. And they probably thought their spells was enough to protect it. If this was just a clubhouse, this is quite the clubhouse, that's for sure, considering the Hall of Hooves and everything. So let's get into what I think of the actual episode that promoted this place so well. I would not Yeah, I would. I hate haunted houses and old creepy buildings. I would be like Fluttershy if this place was real. No joke, I'd go in because of my friends and hope I was leaving every 2 seconds I was there, lol. Okay, so the best part of season 4 to me is no joke the mystery of the box, and I love how connected the story feels because of it. It feels like every episode is building up to the next big adventure. I really wish MLP kept this format, and unfortunately, this was the last season that did it as well as it did. I mean, season 5 was alright, I guess, but Twilight is looking for information on this box and even asks her teacher, who says, why not check out our old castle? So Twilight and Spike head to the castle, finding a library, and I love how nuts Twilight goes for the old books, ignoring how utterly creepy this place is. Meanwhile, Dash and Applejack are neck and neck in the daring competition, but when their chores are finished, they find a new way to break their tie. Go to the old castle and not get scared out of their minds by the Pony of Shadows. Apparently, the Pony of Shadows is what's left over of the dark magic from Nightmare Moon. I really wish we kept this for the Pony of Shadows later on. Perhaps the same magic that corrupted Luna is what corrupted that guy, who knows? You know what would have been interesting though? If the Pony of Shadows and the source of Luna's dark magic was actually Sombra, trying to get back at them. Seriously, that would have made him so much cooler than what he turned out to be. A shame, really, because Sombra is such a waste. Anyway, Rarity wants to reclaim and save the tapestry. Yeah, leave it to Rarity to want to save some old curtains. She hopes to find some sort of inspiration for a new clothesline. And yeah, I feel like that would have been. I feel like this is kind of all just, for plot convenience. I feel like what would have been better way to get her to come to the castle is if she can't figure out a new dress design, so she decides to go to the castle instead mid-spa with Fluttershy. I feel like that would have been better than just her randomly showing up. Yeah, so after a soak, this is what they actually end up doing apparently, and Angel is coming along because... Why? Because he wants Fluttershy to be him, and she refuses until after she helps Rarity. I don't know this, and it's just there randomly for nearly no reason, just so everyone can show up of the main six. I just don't like how that was set up. Either way, with all the players here, they get totally spooked because of all of the trapdoors and then the piano playing, which happens to be Pinky just for fun. Honestly, despite it being obvious that they pushed these characters there instead of having it feel more organic while they are there, the plot is still absolutely fantastic. The lesson is still good and it's still very much entertaining. Okay, I do have to admit that you're right. As great of an episode as this is, and as much as I do enjoy it, I don't think it's the best episode of the entire series or anything like that, but I'd be lying if I said I did wholeheartedly enjoy this episode despite its little flaws. It's an 8 out of 10, and you'll find I'm going to give a lot of 8s this season. What? This season is just that good. Tell me, what do you think the Castle of the Two Sisters is supposed to be? And with that said, maybe you'd be interested in knowing what Celestia and Luna's backstory could be? Here you can click this video and find out for yourselves. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and remember, my friends, watch out for the Pony of Shadows. And friendship is magic.